So we're over here. We're going to check again this apartment building that we've been working on. We're down to the last unit. This is a double unit. So this was the unit in which the owner took 2 units when he built this in 1963, and he made 1 large unit. In fact, if you look over here, you can see where he even stuck a deck on the back of the property in order for his family to enjoy, and he even had direct access to part of the basement from inside the apartment. This is one big ass apartment, okay? And so we're finishing this up. We already have it rented. We have a tenant that's going to come in and take it as of August 1st, and so we are on top of it, okay? We're getting it done. We were out here before, gave you an overview about a week and a half ago, and so we're back to check on this, and I got my guys in there. We're going to see where we're at and where we got to go, because we have to have this thing completely finished in the next 2 weeks, which I don't think is going to be a problem. This is what owners do, okay? I think I showed you this before. I mean, all right, those are the steps to this deck. You think that's going to work for a tenant? No. We're going to cut those out and just extend the handrail. We're going to power wash this, probably put on new railings, and then make this look nice. And then next year we're going to rip it down, because underneath this deck, they've got the dirt piled up above the foundation wall. Okay, and that destroys the brick. It destroys the sill plate. Not good. Plus, we don't need to have this big of a deck for the tenants. It'll be cut in half, and it'll actually give us an additional parking space. Okay, all right, so let's go take a walk through. This is the bullshit that just drives you nuts. Okay, someone cleaning a brush, and then they get the paint on the brick. Like, seriously? But that's what happens, all right? Now, the other thing we noticed when we came back here is the guy that put all the windows and doors, because these are all new windows and doors, but as you can see, they were not caulked. So now we have to have our guy come back and caulk every window around this place. They're all brand new windows, and they didn't caulk them, okay? Now, I can't say that we paid for it to be caulked, because it was our guys who did it, but you have to catch every little thing, okay? You can't let it go. You got to make sure, because you don't want moisture getting in between there. And the guys who put the windows in at the time, they're not with us anymore, but I've got somebody who's going to come out and crawl around the outside of this building and caulk all the windows. We recently, this morning, I met with the guy for the flooring company, and this hardwood floor is going to all get sanded down, all right? And because of the fact that we have some of these dark stains in here, as you can see, these dark stains, we're going to probably go with a little darker stain color. Typically what we would do is just sand it down and leave it natural. But when you have dark stains on existing hardwood floors, you want to cover those up. And it'll look nice. You won't even see them. But you can't just go with the natural color of the wood after you cut down the floor, that they call cutting it down when you go to sand it to refinish it. We're going to end up having to put a stain on this thing. And you can see there's some more of that over here. And then these floors have not been touched since 1963. So what can you say? As you can see here, we put in new can lighting in the ceiling. These are all retrofitted, so they had to cut open the ceiling in order to do that. But in order to modernize this room, we put in these can lights, and then in order to class it up a little bit, we put in the crown molding. A lot of apartments don't have crown molding, but this is, I would say, a Class B building in a Class A area, and so the tenants will pay the price, but they want the luxury. They want the look. But look at the size of this apartment, okay? Look at this living room. It's insanely big, okay? Just huge, all right? All new windows. As you can see over here on the inside, we had to put in new sills and then trim them out, okay? And then redo all the drywall work around the windows. So that's all been done. Crown molding's in, lights are in. They're painting the ceiling now. They did the first coat. They're going to be doing a second. All right, so let's take a walk through the rest of the apartment here down the hallway. All right, so we haven't done that much here in these bathrooms yet. The ceilings were all repaired. That was done, okay? Now, the guy that's going to come, we put in these new valves, and we saw this on the last video. But the guy that'll come in and redo the tile, he'll also be the same person that's going to put in the granite on the countertops, and that's being done next week. As far as this nastiness, these heat registers, we've got the parts all on order. They'll be rebuilt, and it'll all look real nice. Like I said in the last video, we cannibalized these for the other apartments because some of them were missing some of the pieces. But these are real standard hot water heater registers, and so the parts are there to get. As you can see, we've upgraded this. We've got all the nice marble in here, the marble top. And so what I'm going to do here is, because we ripped out those old ugly medicine cabinets, okay? We ripped those out. All right, so then what we're going to do now is I'm going to have the guy come out. He's going to cut this back. We're going to take these out and we're going to bring this up level. And on this side of the wall, this medicine cabinet will be then above the pencil. They call that the pencil in here. This way you don't have that nasty cutout anymore. All right, so we're here. All right, now we're just painting this whole unit now. And when I'm looking up here, as you can see, as we walk through, not happy with this up here. All right, you can see where they put in the crown molding. That joint, that should have been sanded down better, caulked up better. And then you can see where the caulk shrunk over here because the gap was too large, so then that needed to be refilled. Now, the carpenter who did this, okay, he walked off the job, went out of town for a couple of days, and left that kind of shit. Not acceptable, okay? We don't accept that. We're gonna be having a conversation when he's back. It's just the way this thing rolls. We've got Alex here in the closet. Look at this. Mr. Alex in here working. All right. So we don't want to disturb him too much. Let's keep walking through. All right, so this room here, this room is basically almost completely finished. As you can see, we put in all new outlets. And the reason we do that is because it gives it that nice fresh look. What we notice is when you have that kind of fresh look, you know, think about it. Those outlets have been there since 1963. That plastic discolors. It just looks pretty nasty. So you're redoing this whole building. Why do you want to leave some old receptacles, okay, old light switches? The cost of replacing them is next to nothing. Not a big deal. As you can see, we've got all the new doors. Now the doors have all been painted, put in the new trim, put in the new crown molding in here, redid the windowsill over on this side here. All right, and these are all very durable stone. Okay, looks like someone chipped it there. That's really nice. Okay, but this is what happens. I hate to say it, but what's that old saying? Don't let perfection get in the way of good. Well, when you're doing the remodeling, you get to the point where good is good enough. You're not going to get to perfection. It just doesn't work. You're going to drive yourself nuts. But it has to be within the realm of completely acceptable. Otherwise, rip it out and redo it. But you can only do that so much. Otherwise, you're going to sink your project, right? So don't let your perfection get in the way of you making money. Sometimes you just got to suck it up. This is a suck it up moment right here. All right, that's just the way it goes. Now in this bathroom here, which is opposite of the other one, you can see where when we will put in the new medicine cabinet, we can't raise that medicine cabinet way up high. Okay, so this cutout will maintain itself. We can get rid of the other cutout because it's lower, but on this side we can't. This toilet will be replaced. This tub will then be reglazed because it's a cast iron tub. And, you know, instead of trying to pull that thing out of there, we're just going to reglaze it. It has a new valve, and then that tile work will be finished again when the stone guy comes in to do the rest of it. So this is the primary. But you can also see here that we also upgraded the doors. Now these doors will also have the little knobs that are going to be inset into the door so people don't have their fingerprints all over it. And as you can see on these doors over here, the regular swing doors, they have all new hardware. And this is the more modern door, a little more expensive. Now, when you're doing some apartments, you know, you may not spend this kind of money. But when you're doing when you're renovating a Class B building in a Class A area, you spend the extra money because you will get the money back, okay? This building, I think if I run the numbers on it, we put 1.1 million, we paid 1.1 million for it, okay? We've put about $500,000 into it, not a cheap renovation, but when we're done, it's gonna be worth roughly $2.8 to $3 million. And how do I know that? Because it's the rents, baby. This is the only unit that's not rented. So when we do the calculation and we subtract out the expenses from the revenue, we come down to the NOI, net operating income, and then we divide that by the cap rate. And in this case, we're looking at about 5.5%. We're coming down to where it's between $2.8 and $3 million. So even though we spent more money on it than we wanted to, we're still going to make every dime of it back and then some. This is the second bedroom here. Now they're going to come in here again. All right, again, they're gonna, when they're, all this hardwood floor, it's all gonna be resanded, okay? And they're gonna put a stain on it, because as you can see over here in this corner, look at that nasty stain. Again, if we just ground this down to the natural color and then put varnish on it, that stain would shine through. And that's something you don't want shining through. We'll put a darker stain on it and then it'll look really sharp, and you'll see that after the fact. But again, this is just basically what the bedroom looks like. Now, once they redo the floors, we'll also put a shoe, a quarter round shoe around the baseboard so that you'll have that finished look. Handles still have to be put on the doors. The electric still has to be trimmed out, but this room is getting pretty much done. This is the third bedroom in here. That's right, there's a 3-bedroom. That's why we're getting just a chunk more rent in here. So you rarely do you find the 3 bedrooms anymore. This size of an apartment, okay? So again, this room is just about finished out. Again, the new window sills, the new trim. All right, we have all the receptacles replaced again, crown molding throughout, and then we have all of the fire detectors. They're both hardwired in so that if one goes off, they all go off. This all new tile floor that was put in from the foyer running right through to the kitchen. This kitchen, we just put the cabinet boxes up so that the cabinets are installed both bottoms and tops. The stone guy is going to be here today to measure that all out. And we're going to put in, I'm sure it's just going to be a granite countertop that'll go in there. And we've got somebody coming in by Monday. We'll have all the cabinet fronts put on, all the shelving done. And we also put in under cabinet lighting. It's kind of our trademark. People just freaking love it. And it doesn't cost that much. It's all kind of like a low voltage kind of thing. You know what I'm talking about? It's like sometimes the little things make all the difference. Now again, in here, we put in some can lighting on the ceiling as you look. So that all has to be finished up. And as you can see, I'm not real happy with the way that ceiling looks. So we're not even gonna be able to finish this ceiling until the drywall guy gets back here on Monday to finish up this repair. Not happy with it. He should have had that done. My job is to push. My job is to make sure it comes in under the budget and it comes in on time. Remember, there's time, there's price, and there's quality. You rarely want to give up the quality. Now, when I say that good is acceptable, that you can't always be a perfectionist, that doesn't mean I'm giving up on the quality. It just means that there's a zone in which quality lives, and you can't just drive everybody out of their mind, including yourself. When it's well within the good phase, you got to be happy, and that's what we work off of. We want it to be nice as possible. We put in the best materials. We try to do the labor the best way, but hey, you've got to allow for the fact that this building was built in 1963, and when we're done with it, it's going to look gorgeous. So this will all be really nice. You've got all these cabinets in here. It's going to look really sharp. This is something else that really pisses me off. There's a brand new stove. Look what they did to the top of this stove. Nobody had the freaking mind to cover it up. That pisses me off to no end. You got to be able to say, you know, at times, this is not acceptable, and they have to do the things the right way. Again, when you're doing it, make sure that these stoves get covered up. The other thing you got to be really careful about is the fronts of these refrigerators. Now that everybody wants this stainless steel bullshit, they get chipped up, they get dented so easily. When you come over here and you take a look at it, this one, I'm not seeing any dents in it, but we've had them where they're brand new, they've been moved in, and then there's a dent on the front of the door. That's just the way it works these days. So you got to be really careful when you're moving these things around and who's moving them around, and you got to be on it. This didn't make me happy either. When I'm walking through here, I see the crown molding wasn't finished. Okay, carpenter left, went out of town for 2 days. What the hell? Let's get the crown molding finished. That's what he's here for. Don't leave, tell me everything's fine. Then when I walk in, you know, you got the bullshit. But hey, I've always said the amount of money you make is directly proportional to the amount of aggravation you're willing to put up with. And I'll add something to that in the short term. Because as life goes on, that bullshit that you're putting up with, it lessens tremendously. But the amount of money you make is still there. That's what's going on in this very large 3-bedroom apartment. I got my guys in here. They're doing a great job painting it. They're knocking it out. They're fully expecting to have this done by the end of Tuesday. There'll be some touch-ups that'll need to be done because, you know, we're not going to just wait for the drywaller to come in and finish some things. We'll paint it, then we'll go back it'll get repaired. We'll touch it up so it doesn't flash and then paint it a second time. You just can't keep waiting for somebody else to finish things. You got to move forward, and even if you got to go back and you got to spend a few more minutes fixing something that didn't get done the right way the first time, you can't lose a half a day for an extra half an hour. You got to keep driving forward. Now, you might think, hey, he just walked through this whole apartment and all he does is bitch. But that's my job, is to bitch. That'll be your job, is to bitch. Nothing wrong with that. My guys now, they don't take it personally. They know we're just doing what needs to get done. Talk to you soon. Let's get out there. What do I always tell you? Think big, start small, grow fast. All right, sometimes you just gotta bitch. Right, John?
Yes, sir, absolutely.
All right. Talk to you soon.